I had gone through a number of different experiences where I thought that I wanted to quit making music altogether. I was kind of trying to channel the energy from Kwali music, and I wanted to use the vibration of the beat to take me somewhere else spiritually. It wasn't until the rest of the project started coming together that I realized, oh, this might be something I want to share with people after this. Mo kind of came in and she murked it. She carried it, in my opinion. I got really adventurous and I called up Mo Sultana and I told her I really wanted to include her on this song, and if she was down, like, I would fly out to Ireland to shoot a video and do stuff with her. So for Bam Bam, as you can see up here, I started the production on January 20th, 2018. I had gone all around India for a little while. In 2017, in December, I'd gone with Cavo from Dum Dum Project, Fab Five Freddy, Lenart, Lex, and a bunch of old school New York guys, and we wound up in Mumbai. I made an album then called Mr. America. Then after that, I went to Varanasi, and I started collecting sounds because earlier in 2017, I'd spent a lot of time in Atlanta, I'd spent a lot of time in New Orleans, and I was trying to kind of figure out how the sounds between those places and Varanasi could mix. And Varanasi is the most holy place in India, religiously. People, when they die, they want to be cremated, and they want for their remains to be spread all around the Ganges in Varanasi. And it's quite beautiful. I'd been to Varanasi before a number of times. My mom was born in Benares, and so we have a family house there. I went there with Tornado, and we shot some music videos there a number of years ago. And it's a beautiful place. I really love it. So I went back there, and I started getting inspired. And one of the elements that I had kind of started this entire exploration around doing yoga trap was the santoor. Now, the santoor is traditionally, it's like a dulcimer, if you know what that is. This was the raw santoor. Right. But I knew that I wanted to dull it down a little bit, give it like really subtle stereo, back and forth, a little bit of delay, and compress it. Next, I kind of layered on top of that an esraj. And an esraj is an instrument that's used in a lot of West Bengal music. It's used in Punjabi music as well, and it's a fairly common instrument used in the stuff that my parents listened to. I was then able to decide that this is going to be sort of an introspective type of track. The esraj is sort of like weeping almost. That's how it feels to me. Basically, after that, I just started thinking about how am I going to layer on some more sounds. So there's native instruments, absinthe, and I went into that, and I started kind of playing around with lots of things. And I remember, I think this was like a sine bass that I pitched way up, and I just layered that on top, but here it is raw. Actually, it wasn't a sound bass. It was just a like little ding. So, but I got the ding in there. This was the sine bass here. So that's like an old school rave bass. It's not meant to be, if you remember rave, it'd be like womp, womp, womp. It's like pre-dubstep. Like the bass is meant to travel. So I just pitched it all the way up, like full octave up, and then a little bit more after that. I was just trying to create a vibe here. So, you put the Santur and the Esraj back in, and you have this combination. So, I mean, that gives you like a little vibe. It's like really musical, really melodic, and then I just wanted to be really cinematic. That created the entire tone or the mood of the song. And then I started playing around with the bass parts. So once you brought in, the first Esraj, I basically dropped in a really low sub bass. One of the mistakes I made with when I mixed this song or when I just composed it, I didn't think about what would happen if you're listening on really low quality speakers. I didn't really think about the translation. I was DJing a lot, like in clubs, so I knew that this was going to work in the clubs. What I didn't think about was whether or not it was going to work in other places, such as like on your phone at home if you've not got a speaker. So then I went like really over the top and off the deep end, and I put in like a sub bass here. So the sub bass might not be detected if you're listening to a system that doesn't have speakers that can adequately catch that range, but if you're in a car, if you got your headphones on, or if you're in the club, it really slams heavy. So at this point, I had all of these different elements, and I had a vocal. And the vocal was just a real, like a chop, right? So I'll take all the effects off. This is just like the little chop that I did, right? So I just took a little vocal chop. And then right? So that's just like a little chop. I had to make it fit the soundscape, so I took out the highs and the lows. Then I added auto-tune. A little bit of phasing. A little bit of ping-pong delay that's kind of equivalent to a dub delay. And of course, compress the end. And then this was the result. Right? So even spiritual stuff is in auto-tune these days. So right? So when those things play together, I mean, look, we haven't even added the drums yet, but you'll get sort of like a feeling of the soundscape that's being built. So at this point, it could have gone in any number of directions. And the thing that I love about trap music is the drum programming. I built all those parts, and then I kind of separately started building the drums. So I got a kick and I got a kick pattern in there. And you'll notice I use a lot of Ableton's built-in effects because I think that they're really dope. I really think that if you want to make an entire album and only have one piece of software, Ableton's sort of like beginning to end the complete solution. I used a lot of Ableton's inbuilt stuff because I was here in this room. This is not my house, it's my parents' house. I was here and I was in need of finishing the songs and I didn't have another computer, so I had, actually there's another Apple. You'll notice here that all my MIDI source files are up here. And that's because just like in this session when I went to open it up, I don't have all these instruments are missing. You know, the absinthe is missing, if you look down there. And I got into a habit of basically stemming everything out and bringing them into here. So I have them labeled absinthe, but I really believe now, because I shuttle around so much, that stemming things out and committing them as quickly as possible is what you gotta do. So back to the drums. I got this kick. And I loved it. I was like, it sounds like a car crashing and a door opening. So I just needed to like add the clap, right? So I got different hi-hat patterns playing around in here. And it's like a little, like, it's a lot of production, right? So here we go. We got of course you got the 16th notes coming in there. And then I did another layer here. That should come in here. And so that's sort of like got a stereo imaging on it. So you're gonna hear it go in both channels, like, right? So it's got a little bit of an effect on there that's bounced in. And then, so I have different sounds interplaying with one another, creating this feeling of ultimate motion. Because really what it's sort of like spaceship drum programming, because really what I'm trying to do is take the listener on a journey. It's so much sacred stuff's going to be discussed. At that point, I didn't know whether there was going to be lyrics on it, other people on it, or anything. So I basically wanted to be like this sacred spaceship of sound. I wanted it to be trap, but I wanted it to be like spaceship trap. So this is kind of what it sounded like when it all came together. So at that point, when the song got done, I was kind of considering it finished, and something introspective started happening, and that's when I started thinking to myself that maybe this could be something about my past. I really wish Mo would work with me on more modern shit. That is one deep motherfucker. She knows a lot of shit about why the human psyche is what it is. When she's writing fucking textbooks and getting commended by governments on psychology and the human psychosis. And we might need that a little bit more. Well, no, maybe during this time period, we do need yoga trap, and we need the person that's on the yoga trap, healing the world, letting them know what's wrong with them, because Lord knows there's a lot of whack psychosis going on in many on many levels. If you listen to the lyric breakdown video, you'll get how this all correlated to Sister Nancy's Bam Bam. But that's another story. This was the story of how I made the beat for Bam Bam, also Koali Trap. There was no recording artist before they had to sell something to somebody. People just made music, and it's a very human process, and I think everybody should make music. Thanks for watching. If you could do me a big favor, click like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. It'll help me out a lot. If you're more interested in production techniques and how to work with your own style of creation, other music producers, other film producers, content creators in general, I've got an online community called Producing Creative. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Just click that and I'll add you to the mailing list and you can join the community. It's all about hacking your process and workflow to get to a finished product. And of course, it goes without saying, I really hope you enjoy the music and all of the content that I'm presenting with all the wonderful people that I'm working with and collaborating with. Thank you.